Hi Aries, welcome to my channel and happy month of love. I'm normally not a huge Valentine's Day fan, but I'm looking at it from a different perspective this year. And the energy of love and kindness and compassion has been very strong in my guidance and my field since December. And what they were saying to me is that love is everywhere. Love is everywhere. It's not necessarily in or exclusively limited to a romantic relationship, but Valentine's Day can also be celebrated in other ways to celebrate the energy of love, which is medicine for the soul, medicine for the body. And my daughter gave me this idea to do love readings this month. So Aries, this is going to be a love reading looking at present energy and future energy for you in love. The strongest messages will always come through. So let's see what's going on for you for Aries. Strong placements, Spirit, please and thank you for the sign of Aries. Strong placements. What messages of love and guidance can you bring forth today? Spirit, please come into this reading. Bless this reading. Only messages of love and light. Negative energy must leave this space now. My field is sovereign. All energies, entities, frequencies, and signals that are not aligned with my source are not permitted here. All non-consensual access is now purged and sealed for the sign of Aries. Okay, Aries. I'm using my triple goddess deck because of this full moon in Leo, which has been quite intense for me. I'm not sure if you've been also feeling this energy, but it is the last full moon of the wood snake year, and it is a Leo moon, so there has been a lot of release, and Leo is all about the self, the identity, relationship with the world, solar plexus energy, self-confidence. I was getting a feeling of patience in the meditation for you, Aries. Waiting for a message maybe, wondering whether you should send a message, feeling a little bit trapped in your mind about it, maybe overthinking it a little bit. Maybe something has come to a stall, something that you were emotionally investing in or excited about has reached some sort of a pause, is what I'm sensing. Okay, let's see, Aries, what Spirit has to say for you about love. For Aries, love, messages of guidance. Wow, Death and the Star. Yeah, there's definitely a message here, Aries, that you are returning to or processing emotionally. There's a lot of transformation going on here in your emotional landscape, Aries. It feels like you are doing a lot of emotional processing, relating to self and relating to how you relate to others. There are a lot of insights or new downloads, new revelations, new reflections that you have had about how you relate to others in the energy of love. and what it is that you bring. I do sense that there is a feeling of not self-sacrificing any longer. And for a long time, for many years, maybe that was the energy that you were in, is overgiving or self-sacrificing and accommodating in the name of compassion or in the name of empathy, in the name of compromise. But what you have been realizing is that this was an energy leak for you. This behavior or this way of showing up in relationships actually leaked your energy. And it didn't fulfill you in the way that you might have been fulfilling others. So, two major arcana here, the death energy, which is Scorpio energy. So this is major transformation. This is very deep transformation. And with the King of Cups, which is also Scorpio, for me that is the emotional audit and the emotional regeneration that is happening in your space right now. The King of Cups is a very, very emotionally stable king. There's a lot going on beneath the surface in his world, a lot of turbulent emotion actually, but what he is sitting and doing is processing that without reacting. And maybe, with Aries, with your energy, and that is your energy, it's very spontaneous, very fiery reaction sometimes. Maybe, instead of the pause and the response. And this is some of what you are reflecting on. It's also about your communication in relationship, Aries. I feel like there is something about your communication that you are reflecting on, and there's a deep, deep sense of renewal in that aspect. What's amazing is that whatever you're learning is being returned to the cosmos. So, card of Aquarius, major arcana, the star, and we are in Aquarius season. So, it feels like in this Aquarius season, you are listening more to guidance from the cosmos and from a higher source rather than reacting. You are being more in flow about relationships coming towards you rather than, proactively or in a masculine way trying to force anything to come forward. It's very much about trusting your intuition and allowing, the universe, the cosmos, a higher source to guide you in a situation. I do feel that there was a departure here. It could have been for your own emotional safety, Aries, that you are maybe separating yourself from relationships at the moment, taking a bit of a pause and focusing on your own inner emotional world and what is going on, for you within that. I also do feel like there's a lot of focus on self right now, Aries, and maybe not enough time to be giving to others right now, especially where you sense that, and when your energy is low, Aries, you will sense that, the people that come in to try and take more from that. Pay attention to that, because that is a sign or a signal as to where you've been leaking your energy emotionally. So there's definitely a journey you are taking here, an emotional journey away from relationships that are not filling your cup, that are not fulfilling you, that are not reciprocating, walking away from situations where your energy has been leaking, Aries. And this has been very much in Aquarius season. So I do feel like you could be in a little bit of isolation at the moment, or in a pause. And maybe, if this is a situationship or relationship that you've been waiting for communication or waiting for this person to come forward, there's a sense that you are no longer, or holding yourself back from being the one to reach out, because generally you are the one to reach out into the situation to try and balance it, to fix a situation, to to repair communication. But this is very much about holding your energy back and containing your emotions so that you see the reaction, or you are waiting for the reaction from the other person, rather than filling the space. And when we do fill the space, when we do fill the silence because of our discomfort or because of our impatience, it doesn't give the other person a chance to process and respond when they are ready. We might be ready for a conversation. It doesn't necessarily mean that the other person, people involved, are at the same level of readiness. And that's usually where the conflict in communication comes in, is the assumption that both individuals and both parties are at the same level of accountability, of awareness, of fairness, of, as I said, accountability. This is someone running away from accountability. So you do sense that there is an accountability mismatch maybe in a situation, and you're not going to overcompensate for it anymore. Or you are seeing the gap. You are allowing enough of a pause in the situation, Aries, for you to be able to see the gap in accountability and reciprocity. It's agency, Aries. I feel like it's sovereignty and agency on your part. Choosing very carefully, but focusing on you and realizing that this is not about anybody else. I think maybe in the past it was more of a concern about what the other person is thinking, and therefore responding to that, responding in a way that makes someone else feel comfortable, but at your own detriment and to your own self-sacrifice. And that is what you are moving away from, Aries. I just want to clarify with the Rider-Waite before closing. And this is a beautiful place to be in. It's not easy, because if your normal modus operandi is to reach out, is to take action, is to be the one to, move forward and fix a situation, it's very, very difficult to hold yourself back sometimes. It's the impatience. And Aries, you can be impatient, especially when it comes to relationship, because you want to move on, you want to know, it's that fire energy. You want it, you want some level of closure, but you are finding closure here for yourself, Aries. Realizing that it doesn't necessarily take another person to bring that closure in, and that you can do that for yourself. There's a sense of moving forward very quickly away from something. You could also be traveling, Aries. Cancer energy. So Scorpio is here, Aquarius is here, Cancer is here. You could be dealing with those signs. You don't have to be. Okay, let's clarify. Spirit, what more can you tell us about this situation? Yeah, the sense of feeling trapped in your own mind. Maybe you're overthinking a little bit, Aries, and this can happen, when we are healing, when we are considering reaching out, when we are considering whether we need to be the one in communication, or taking the lead in communication, or fixing a situation. But it is a self-entrapment card. It is a card of where we bind ourselves by our own mind, and yet we are free to walk forward. There is a freedom to walk forward. It feels like there's a little bit of pause here. Maybe it's a situation that, has been going on for a long time, and you're trying something new to repair or to restore your sense of control. The sun, there will be, and again, this is Leo energy, so I do feel that this is a lot about your sense of self and what brings you happiness, and no longer sacrificing for someone else's happiness, no longer compromising what you find to be important for yourself, for anyone else's comfort, for anyone else's happiness. I also feel that you're finding the joy in the little things again, Aries, the joy and love in little moments, very childlike energy. And as children, love is really everywhere. It is in a flower, it is in a growing plant, it is in a ripening tomato, it is in hugging a tree, it is in finding a stick, that is the perfect wand. And those are all the little moments that bring love into a child's space. It's hugging your pet, or rolling around on the floor with your puppy or your dog, just getting muddy and rolling around in the dirt and the earth, and just feeling a sense of calm and peace and love in that, in the connection that is all around you. And I do feel like this is coming back in for you again and grounding you, Aries. I am an Aries rising, so I do notice if things are not moving quickly for me, or if things are not manifesting or unfolding as my imagination wants them to, there is a sense of restlessness which can be very ungrounding. And it's grounding that restlessness again in your own space, Aries, without anything external coming in to help you ground that or to affirm you. Only jumpers, please and thank you. The Queen of Cups wanted to come out, and that is the sense of nurturing, nurturing, holding the space, recognizing in which relationships you hold the emotional space and stepping back from that so that there can be balance. There's definitely communication coming in here. I do feel like there's a new beginning. There's a new spiritual awareness as well. This could also be new healed communication coming in here, Aries. But this is your energy. This is, Aries energy, Ace of Wands, fire energy. It's a one energy, which is about beginnings. I do feel like there's been a lot of spiritual and emotional insight here regarding relationship and your role and your part that you play in relationship, Aries. Observing, so you are observing, or your person is observing, but I don't feel like there is any action yet. It's more of an observing energy, more of a mental energy. There's a combination of, there's a back and forth I sense here, Aries, between observing and wanting to reach out. And again, it is, fighting or kind of a dialogue between who you want to move into being versus who you are used to being. So it's that tug of war between stepping back into your normal way of being, which is reaching out, which is fixing, which is giving, which is, Aries, a lot of Aries gets a rap for being very harsh, very dangerous, very direct, and at the same time, Aries, you are very giving and very loving in that way. So it's also, it's going back between how do I stay true to myself and still be my loving self without self-sacrificing. There's also a sense that you are observing yourself from the outside, Aries. Observing the landscape, observing all of your relationships from a different perspective, from an outside perspective, removing the emotion from it and not responding or reacting to the emotion any longer. And the Queen of Cups did eventually come out. So it is about nurturing. She's the most nurturing queen in the deck, card of Cancer, making a home. This is about coming home to yourself, I feel. This is about also bringing love back to the people in your life that are also nurturing you, that also bring in safety for you, that bring in a sense of safety to your nervous system. I feel like that is what is being rewired here, is trusting your nervous system in situations and recognizing when it signals to you that this situation feels unclear, unsafe, unstable, and trusting that and moving away or making decisions to pull your energy back rather than trying to decipher it further and moving into it deeper. So it's no longer about trying to fix someone else. It's no longer about, if I do this, will they then notice me? If I show up in a certain way, will this, be different? Will this cause a different reaction in the situation? It's really about sovereignty and your own agency, and focusing on what you need to do for you to feel safe in the situation, and for you to feel emotionally balanced and cared for. Okay, Aries, let's see. But I do sense that there will be balance. There will be an interaction that is going to be karmic. If there's a message that you're waiting for, if there's a communication that you're waiting for, I do feel that there is karmic balance coming in here. So there will be, an unplanned interaction or a signal or a soft, gentle gesture that will show you, and look out for the signs, look out for the signals and the signs that you are getting, because some of them can be indirect. It's not always direct communication. And that is going to bring about some form of closure or emotional balance, Aries. Karmic balance. What is the overall energy for Aries for this reading, please and thank you? What is the overall energy? Page of Swords again, so repeating message. Thank you, Spirit. Repeating message here, Page of Swords. Observing, not taking action, looking at things from a higher perspective with those birds in both cards. And swords are about communication. Swords are also about mental clarity. So I do feel like it's still in the infancy stages of your mental clarity about this area. So it does feel like a reset. It does feel like a redesign, a renewal of the way you show up emotionally. I do feel like you are observing your thoughts, observing your reactions, observing what's going on within your body. Before responding, before acting, and before reacting, which is not usual for you, Aries. So give yourself some grace in this process. Continue to observe, and as we observe, as we gather information, we then build a database of how to respond or where to respond from. But if we are always bringing noise into the situation, if we are trying to fill a silence with words, if we are trying to ease the discomfort by reaching out or by compromising ourselves, we don't gather enough information about the situation because we're always acting on it. So there's not enough room to receive information about it, if that makes sense. And it feels like this is the switch up with you, Aries. It's about receiving information now and working with that information, gathering information, rather than you being the one to create the information. It's less masculine and more feminine in nature. Okay, Aries, I hope that helped. Happy Love Month again, sending you so much love. And if this resonated, I'd love a comment. See you next time.